Lady Canooch, give me strength.
Oh, hi, hello, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How is everybody tonight? Doing good? I hope so, because I am doing good too. So, Monday night, we'll probably not have a Thomas to talk to tonight, but that's okay. What we'll do is we'll check the headlines, feel them out. You tell me how you're feeling, I'll feel them out with you. We will then play some video games and turn on Lady Canooch for any super cool text to speech. So if you are uh, in, if you hop into chat during the,
Feeling it out.
yeah, feeling it out, the Lady Canooch will read it out to you, and it will be fun. You can tell us what you're feeling, give us all your hot takes, all that fun stuff. And let's get ready to go. I've got just a couple of stories here tonight. If you want to tell us what stories to talk about, if you have an idea on what you want, if you want to send a link, you can do so in the chat or at the Discord. If I could spell, I got a new keyboard today.
Discord. https discord gg beignet tridix 8.
And there it is again in the Twitch chat.
I thought
Because
links were disabled on Twitch.
they might be. I swear I pressed a button that said they were enabled, but I swear I had that option, and then I clicked yes, enable them. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm not very smart. Oh, it seems like they're not, because that's what that was. Uh, I'll try and figure out how to do it.
Yep, still deleted.
Yeah, still
At
deleted.
PopOG42 streamers can post them in their own chat.
Hmm. But not anybody else. Interesting. Okay. Huh. I thought I could change that thing. I don't know if it works like that on Kick either. You should go over to Kick. Papa can follow me there as well, and then try and post it and find out. Uh, see what I did there? I'm a evil genius. Uh, so let's get on with the very first
Generally, no
story.
mods might be able to buy, not sure.
Yeah, I think what usually happens is KBP sends them to me, but he's a mod, so I think that's what happens there. Let's get the Lady Canooch turned off for the moment. Okay, so Lady Canooch is out, and we'll start up with the the headlines. Swap over here, press the buttons properly, turn off game capture, turn on window capture, and go right there. All right, Supreme Court restores Trump to ballot, rejecting state attempts to ban him over Capitol attack. Now that's just what we had expected, right? 9-0, just like we had expected. Popog, I know you were saying that as well as Thomas, and that's not a surprise. Um, this is what we expected. There's no surprises here. Monday unanimously restored Donald Trump to 2024 presidential primary ballots, rejecting states' attempts to ban the Republican former president over the Capitol riot. The justices ruled a day before the Super Tuesday primaries. Are those tomorrow? Good Lord. The states cannot invoke a post-Civil War constitutional provision to keep presidential candidates from appearing on ballots. The power resides with Congress, the court wrote in an unsigned opinion. So, Congress could bar him, which they should. They won't, but they ought to. They're not gonna, though. Said Trump posted on his social media network shortly after the decision was released. Big win for America. Uh, the outcome ends efforts in Colorado, Illinois, and Maine to kick Trump off the ballots. That's fine. Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold expressed disappointment in the court's decision, and she acknowledged that Donald Trump is an eligible candidate on Colorado's 24 presidential primary. Imagine that. Look, look, look. A Democrat had court here, a court decision go against what they thought, and they accepted it immediately. Let that sink in for a minute. Donald Trump still hasn't agreed that he lost in 2020. He still talks every single day about how he won. Maybe one side is worse than the other. Trump's case was the first at the Supreme Court dealing with the provisional 14th Amendment, which was adopted after Civil War. Yep, yep, yep. We talked about this before. Let's see if there's anything new in here. The justices sidestepped the politically fraught issue of insurrection in their opinions, but some Trump critics pointed out to the silence on the topic as a victory of sorts because the court failed to absolve him of responsibility for the Capitol riot. That seems like liberals just reaching and grabbing at things that they didn't say he wasn't not guilty. Uh, yeah, it seems like a stretch right here. The court failed to absolve him of responsibility for the Capitol riot. Is he responsible? Yes. Did the court say he was? No. Did they say he wasn't? No. Also no. So it's I think the liberals are reaching there. A little bit of copium there from them. The court held that the states may bar candidates from the state office. So states can bar people from state offices, but states have no power under the Constitution to enforce Section 3 with respect to the federal offices, especially the presidency, which means that Congress can ban people from federal office, which I think maybe they should have the Dems start pushing that. Maybe the Republicans will just jump on board real quick. He'll be get it passed with 51%. While the 9 justices agreed that Trump should be on the ballot, there was a sharp disagreement from the 3 liberal members of the court and a milder disagreement from the conservative Amy Covid Barrett. That is her name, Amy Covid Barrett. That their colleagues went too far in determining what Congress must do to disqualify someone from federal office. Uh, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Brown Jackson said they agreed that allowing the Colorado decision to stand would create a chaotic state-by-state patchwork. Okay, yes, and I think we talked about that before, is every state would have a bunch of different things. But said they disagreed with the majority's findings. Finding a disqualification for insurrection can only happen when Congress enacts legislation. So today the majority goes beyond the necessities in the case to limit how Section 3 can bar an oath-breaking insurrectionist from becoming president. Um, okay. It's unclear whether the ruling leaves open the possibility that Congress could refuse to certify the election of Trump or any other presidential candidate, seeing as having violated Section 3. Huh. So, mm, this isn't good. I, I I do want Trump to lose, but if he wins, do I want Congress to go and say no, we're not going to certify it because you broke 14-3? No, that would only cause more chaos. That would cause a new riot. That would cause a whole new Jan 6th. Uh, but at the same time, do I think Trump will do a bunch of terrible things? Yes. We may well have a nasty, nasty post-election period in which Congress tries to disqualify Trump, but a Supreme Court says Congress exceeded its powers. Ugh. All right. Well, I swear, these people just want to be live streamers. Honestly, they just want to be live streamers. So they're doing the most dramatic and exciting thing that they can to up the numbers for next year's uh, series finale. Yeah, the series finale. Your amazing flowchart breaks it down. Yeah, the dissent wanted to say fewer things and pick a shorter path. The majority wanted the shit not to come back up in a horrible rush. Yeah, it was a good flowchart and it was used pretty well. I got to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, you got to get those numbers up. Get it. Let's do it. We got to get. It's sweeps week in. It's the end of the season, so they're going to have to leave us with a cliffhanger in January. It's going to be exciting. So, is this a surprise? No, we all saw this coming. Popog has pushed it out to me, and he used a flowchart and described it, and we all saw this coming from a mile away. But what changes in the future? Nothing really. We still back from a message after our spot. Yeah, yeah. They're gonna sell some soda, some beer commercials. It'll be great. Then what else we've got? Because and I mentioned it on Saturday stream, but the uh, Supreme Court has chosen to hear the immunity case, which means that the timeline of that just gets pushed further and further back. They're probably not, from what I was reading, they're probably not going to have a decision on that until like June or July, which then puts, if they decide that he is not immune, and they will, that puts Jack Smith up against the clock, and he wants to get this stuff done before November. He's barely going to be able to pull it off, and I don't know if he can pull it off. Uh, and I'm worried about that. That makes me nervous that a guy who's probably broken several election laws gets to run an election, win, and then cancel all the election lawsuits and get rid of the DOJ people that will hold him responsible. That seems like a bad thing. Why didn't he start earlier? Because I got two ideas for why he didn't start earlier. One, it took a really long time for him to gather all that stuff, and he was waiting very patiently for the horseshit, the Capitol investigation. Remember the one that was led by Dick Cheney's daughter? What's her name? The Cheney lady. And they sat there and they showed all the evidence, and they were doing it right in the halls of Congress, and everybody watched it, and nothing happened. They did that for political gain. I know they did. They did that to win the midterms. So they had to wait until the midterms were nearby. The 9/11 Commission. Yeah, it was the Jan 6 Commission. So Jack Smith didn't want to wait for that to be over, but I think he did out of politeness for them because they have all the information, they have all the videotapes, and they're not releasing it to him until after their investigation is over. And their investigation is blatantly, obviously partisan. They wanted to make Donald Trump look as bad as possible and make him lose the primaries, not the primaries, the midterms, make him lose the midterms. And by waiting until the midterms were around, they killed 2 years. So they investigated for 2 years, and then they gave it to him, and then he started investigating, and then the Trump lawyers push everything back and stall, and now it gets stalled out again. And now we've only got literal minutes until the election, and the Dems kind of wanted that too. They really do. Joe Biden wants, Nancy Pelosi wants, the DNC loves Donald Trump being on trial during October. They want that. They love it. They would like that to be the truth. Because that means that they get to point at it during all the debates, every single campaign event. Look, this guy's on trial. Look, he's on trial. Look, he's on trial today. He's on trial. He's on trial. He's on trial. Look at him. On trial. And that's political for them. It is political. Everything is political. Everything is political. But this is political maneuvering, is what I would call it. By choosing to have it done in this time frame, they get to point at it. If it were done 6 months ago, and we already knew he was innocent or guilty of this thing, of the Jan 6 trial, they would have had a new person, Haley or DeSantis, would be running, and they would be winning the primary, and they would be going against Joe Biden, and Joe Biden would lose. Honestly, I think Joe Biden loses to Haley or DeSantis, either one. The only chance Joe Biden, I think, has is going against Trump. And I don't like that. That doesn't make me happy. But those are our choices. The mediocre, milquetoast wimp of a Dem, or the the authoritarian Trump surrounded by fascists. Those are our choices. Not good choices, but those are the choices we have. What else is in the news today? Well, let's look at this one. Truly dystopian. Experts worry Trump's school vaccine plan will spark public health catastrophe. Trump would take millions of federal funds away from all Virginia public schools. I think this is all. I don't know why it just says Virginia here, because it would be all the schools, not just Virginia. Um, He invented a vaccine for school, yeah, and you no longer have to go anymore. A former lawmaker raised alarms after former President Donald Trump's vow in Virginia to defund public schools that require vaccines. All public schools require vaccines, all of them, literally all of them. I don't, I don't know. Why would he say that? Trump has repeatedly vowed not to give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate. Maybe he just means COVID? Or does he mean everything? MMR? Measles, mumps, rubella? Is that part of his vaccine mandate? Trump said in Richmond that he will take all federal funds away from public schools that require vaccines. Like most states, Virginia requires MMR, chickenpox, polio. So Trump would take millions of federal funds away from all Virginia public schools. Maybe he's too dumb to know that. Maybe he's so Q-pilled and conspiracy baked that vaccine mandate just means COVID. He doesn't have the authority to do this. Popog, I agree. He doesn't have the authority to do that, but that might not stop him. That's what makes me nervous. That's why I complain about him all the time. That's why I yell about him. I don't think that matters. I think he'll just do it. Let's see. He was against vaccines for their autism making in the first place. Yeah, so is good old RFK Jr. He's pretty great. So maybe it is all vaccines. Yeah, it could be. Former United States Secretary of Education posed a question to parents across America asking, is this really what you want for your children? Do you want them going to poorly funded schools with children much more likely to be sick? Only an authoritarian leader would want citizens to be poorly educated and not healthy. Truly dystopian. Okay. This is a bad plan, and I hope it doesn't go through. I hope it does not. But again, often Donald Trump talks a lot, doesn't know what he's talking about, and if we're lucky, it won't get enforced or pushed, and nobody will take it seriously. All right. Donald Trump rages at Nikki Haley after losing Washington D.C. primary. So very fun. He lost the D.C. primary, which is like no delegates or something like that. Donald Trump was lashed out at Bird Brain Nikki Haley. Oh, she got a nickname. You guys, she got a nickname. It's so great. Bird Brain Nikki Haley. He had to make sure it was mean, but not sexist, or else he'd get in trouble. Uh, After the former U.S. ambassador to the UN won her first Republican primary in Washington, D.C., the former president accused Haley, Trump's only serious challenger left in the GOP primary, of being a loser after she won Sunday's race by 62 to 33. Uh, Haley achieved a small but symbolic victory over Trump on Sunday, becoming the first woman to win a Republican primary in U.S. history. That's a little bit shocking, isn't it? First lady to ever win a Republican primary. Trump is still all but guaranteed to clinch the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, having won resounding victories in all previous 8 races. They include Michigan primary and Missouri and Idaho caucuses on Saturday, as well as Haley's home state of South Carolina. So he's going to also then win Super Tuesday, which is apparently tomorrow. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to live stream that shit. We already know who's going to win. This guy and Joe Brandon. That's it. There is no other way around it. Let's see. Trump also downplayed the significance of Haley's win in Washington, which only awards 19 of the 1,215 delegates needed to clinch the nomination, while citing his recent victory. So she is it, what is that, 1%? That's less than 1%. She's 1% of the way there. It's going to be great. She has, so you're saying there's a chance. Birdbrand is a loser. Record low performance in virtually every state. DeSantis easily beat her in Iowa for a very distant second place, and then she ran up to the podium before he had a chance to do so and claimed victory. I enjoy watching the Bird disavow her pledge to the RNC and her statement that she would never run against President Trump, a great president. Well, she ran, she lied, and she lost bigly. Um, he left out the brain that time. He left out brain. He just called her a bird. Is it an open primary? Maybe. Maybe it's just Dems trolling. ABC baby, always be trolling. Maybe. Uh, we can Google it. Is DC primary an open primary? Come on. Voters may or may not choose to affiliate with a political party. However, in order to vote in a primary election in the District of Columbia, get out of here. Pop-ups. You must be registered to vote with one of the parties that is eligible and conduct a primary election. 80% of Washington, D.C. voters are registered as other with a third party. So you have to, it is open. I think you're right. The Dems could go in there and vote for Nikki Haley. So, hooray. Good for her. The Dems would rather have her than Donald Trump, which is great. I agree. She's on my list higher than he is. His cultists will eat that up. Yeah, you're right. Oh, Ballotpedia is saying it's closed? Okay. It's actually a real win for her. Not just them floating polls. Okay. All right. That sounds cool. And that's nice, except I know why she's there. I suspect that she is there just in case Donald Trump goes to jail. There's a chance that he goes to jail. There's a chance that he has a giant, massive coronary and dies. There's a chance that he goes a little loopy and his brain starts to bake and he does something crazy and gets disqualified. I think those are possible. And she's just going to be there so that she can say, look at me, I'm still in the race. I didn't drop out. I stuck in. I get all those points. It's a competition between two people, and one of them has died or gone to jail. It immediately goes to that second person. And Ron DeSantis will jump back in the race at that point and be like, "No, I had more votes than you," and then she'll be like, "Yeah, but you dropped out. You gave up." So, uh, this streamer, that's me, is really so incredibly stupid. That he thinks the Supreme Court ruling that a state can't remove a choice as ballot is fascism. Um, Planet Sega Saturn. That was an exciting title to get you to click in here, and I appreciate it. You did. Donald Trump will bring the fascism. Uh, more choices equals fascism. You are delusional. Somebody swallowed the clickbait. Yeah, gotcha. So Donald Trump is fascism, and now he's on more ballots. So we have a greater and better chance of getting the fascism. That'll be great. um, Trump isn't fascist. Glad I could clear that up. Well, he is, though. Should we go down the list? Boss, there's a list of fascism. There's a fascism checklist, and he ticks almost all of them. Can I explain how Donald Trump is a fascist? Should we go down the list? There is a list. Let's go down the list. We'll make it quick, though. All right. Let's go to the Wikipedia right here. Webcap screen. What's that? Trump is the fascist. Like that. You're gay. Trump is a goat. Lefty's triggered. Well, no, I'm not triggered at all. Please don't use that horrible Umberto Eco list. But it's a great list, Couch Baby. It is a great list because it's literal and correct. I don't know why you would call that a terrible list. Uh, this list is good, right, and correct. If you want to be good, right, and correct, you would look at this list and then base your choices off of it. This is absolutely the Umberto Eco list because it's an awesome list. The cult of tradition, characterized by the cultural syncretism, I mispronounce that every time, even at the risk of internal contradiction. When the truth has already been revealed by tradition, no new learning can occur, only further interpretation and refinement. This, we just talked about that with his schools. Donald Trump doesn't want kids to go to school, and he wants them to be sick. Kill the education. We already know everything. There's nothing new to learn. They absolutely run a cult of tradition. Make America great again. Go backward to make it back the way it was. No, Couch Baby, it doesn't apply to that. Can we apply cult of tradition to Joe Biden? I don't think we can. We can slightly, maybe a little bit, but not quite as much as Trump and the Republicans. The culture tradition for the Dems, if you want to apply that to Joe Biden, would only be the fact that he's pro-America. He really like loves America and stuff like that. And I don't know. I can't think of Joe Biden pushing the cult of tradition. He is the leftist. He is the progressive. He is the one moving forward. I don't think you can plant Sega Saturn. You can, but not nearly as strongly. Biden's appeal to cultural tradition is jingoism bullshit. Try and rally animus against Russia. That was easy. animus against Russia is warranted right now. Cultural tradition in jingoism is warranted at the moment against Russia. Russia is doing literally a war right now on one of our allies. Saying, hey, let's stop that is not jingoism. The rejection of modernism. Do you think Biden pushes the rejection of modernism? No. He's pro modernism. He's on the side of modernism. Views the rationalistic development of Western culture since the Enlightenment as a descent into depravity. How often is Donald Trump talking about depravity and the degeneracy? He talks about those all the time. Biden doesn't. Doesn't matter if it's as strongly as it applies to everyone, then you are just saying everyone is fascist. Donald Trump is more of a yes, couch baby. Literally yes. You got it, buddy. You got it. He's more of a fascist. Does some of these apply to Donald Trump? Most of them do. Do some of them apply to Biden? Yes, but to a lesser extent. Vote for the least fascist. I'm not making a crazy. I don't think I'm a crazy person when I suggest vote for the less fascist. I have a I personally have a very simple voting strategy. You want to hear it? During the primaries, you vote for the person that's furthest to the left. Then during the general, you vote for the person that's furthest to the left. That's it. That's all. So if I make a list that says everyone is a communist, but Biden is more of a communist, does that matter? Are you a researcher? Have you done work to determine what these words mean and how they're put together? Are you an author of some note to which you could base your facts on research that you've done? If so, then we could read it. And guess what? Joe Biden would be more of a communist than Donald Trump. Yes, he would. I wouldn't argue with that. That's just more like fat shit. Got him. Oh man, you got me good now. Wait until the people like this streamer have public meltdowns. Why would I have a public meltdown? If you start taking people's rights away, they will have meltdowns. I don't know why you would want to. And to be clear, when I say communist, I mean Soviet-style communist. Yes, great. Couch baby. Donald Trump is farther from a communist than Joe Biden is. I'm closer to a communist than Joe Biden is. Start packing your bags. Well, I'm going to be right here looking into this camera telling you all the terrible, awful fascism that Donald Trump does in November. He's going to, if he wins, he's going to do a fascism or two, and then I'll tell you about it. Is going to have a public meltdown of his ice cream. Okay, replace communist with Soviet. Um, let's see, who's closer to being Soviet? I don't think either one. Soviet's more like a regional kind of thing. Heads of state government isn't fascism. Heads of state, no, fascism is this list, my guy. I brought up the list. Fascists do these things. What's next? Cult of action for action's sake, which dictates that action is a value itself and should be taken without intellectual reflection. That is the most accurate description of Donald Trump I've ever read anywhere, my man. This is literally the most direct, correct, and obvious description of Donald Trump. Take action right now without intellectual reflection. That describes him to a T. If, once again, I make a list saying everyone is a Soviet. Does that list matter at all? If you are some sort of expert in Sovietism and who is and isn't, and you put some sort of description behind it and you put some research into it, you could put everyone on that scale. Literally, you could be on that measurement. Couch baby, you could. You might not be very Soviet. You might be on the not so Soviet side, or you might be closer to them than other people. You can make scales all day long. This scale, I think, is well researched, well documented, put together properly, and is the thing that I care about. Couch baby, this is the important thing to mention. Fascism will destroy our country. It will destroy the country I'm a part of. And I have kind of invested in. Okay? I'm invested in this country. Kind of like it. Kind of live there. Would like not to have it completely fall apart. I don't want the laws to be used to round up migrants. I think that's a bad thing. I don't want the laws to round up me and all the gays and put them into a re-education camp. That's a bad thing. One side is more likely to do that, and it's not the left. Uh, it's hard thing to measure since they're both economically vague. Well, that's why it's a tricky thing to measure. What? Donald Trump Gov got nothing done. How is it the cult of action? Couch Baby, do you know why they got nothing done? Because they didn't think they were going to win. In the year 2020, when they won by surprise, Donald Trump had already fired Chris Christie, his transition manager, which means half of their positions didn't get filled. They were not prepared to win. They are today. That will not happen again. If tomorrow, Couch Baby, you got thrown into a new job that you didn't know you were going to have, I mean, if you became a dog catcher tomorrow, you would not know where to start. What do I do? I don't know. But later, you would, if you got chosen 5 years later, you'd know where to start. That's a terrible example. Uh, it can be what you care about, but what factual? Factual. That list is a factual list. It is a attitude that will lead to the destruction of my country, and I don't accept that. You don't want it to fall apart. Why are you in the cult of tradition in the U.S.? Um, there's some tradition, yes. I don't like tradition. I think reason is more important than tradition. And I've said that on stream before. Reason should be measured. Tradition should be measured against reason and not the other way around. You don't do things just because they are a tradition. You do things because they're reasonable. And if they're also a tradition, that's fine. It's a tradition of reason. I'm on board. But if it's just a tradition and not reasonable, I'm not for it. The streamer is the clearest example of this streamer. That's me. Is the clearest example of someone working backwards to a conclusion. I disagree completely. You just need Trump to be an existential enemy, so you have to say he's a fascist. No, I looked at the evidence, found out what a fascist is, measured that against Donald Trump, and he seems to be one. Popa could start by catching dogs. Yeah, but you don't know where are the trucks, where are the keys, where are the sticks. How many people do I have? How many people do you need? How you're in charge, Popog, of the dog catch? How many do you need for your community? You don't know. I don't know how many dog catchers are in my county. Could be 10, could be 100. I don't have any damn idea. So that's what I was saying. If Donald Trump won by accident, he's a dog that caught the car, but now he's caught the car, he doesn't know what to do with it. That won't happen again. They have Project 2025. Everybody's read it. I've got many, many videos about it on the YouTube link. I've got plenty of YouTube videos about it. You can go there. You can watch the videos I made about Project 2025. They are prepared for Donald Trump to win. They are ready this time. And when he wins, if he wins, they will not get tricked into inaction again. They will take all the actions. They will kick out everybody who isn't politically aligned with them. Yeah, see, you're already failing. Stick placing the dogs in the dog place. I'm nailing you on this dog catching job. How many? How many? Per 1 million residents. How many dog catchers do you need, Popog? um, HMK, let's see, first time chat area, because the Constitution makes Congress rather than the states responsible for enforcing Section 3 against federal office holders and candidates, we reverse. This is powerful. Yes, I think you're right. Um, this is powerful. Um, that means that Congress is responsible for disallowing the people who are running for federal office, but states are responsible for the state offices. So if Donald Trump were running for governor of Colorado, Colorado might actually be able to stop him from being on the ballot. But because the president is federal, Congress has to do that. They should, but they won't. If Congress had balls, if the Democrats had balls, they'd bring that shit up right now. They'd bring that shit up in the Senate as a bill, disqualify Donald Trump because of Jan 6. They should. And it won't pass. Biden would sign it, but they can. Can a reasonable person come to a different position than you? Well, sure. Of course you can. It just depends on what your starting points, your axioms, and your goals might be. Uh, Popog, you're the only dog catcher the million people in your region need? That's amazing. I am quite proud of you. That sounds amazing. There was a dog behind me, but now he's gone. Yes, a reasonable person can come to a different conclusion than I do. It just depends on how you want to structure your world, what's important to you, and what things you value. If you value things differently than I do, then you might come to different conclusions. You might go up the decision tree, up the flow chart of decisions, what to do, how, which way to turn left, which way to turn right, to get to the place that you are, and that's okay. That's not bad. That's what politics is the you and I debating, hopefully, through a representative government on how to set the boundaries properly. You sound like you don't understand how government works in the first place. Everyone knew that the Supreme Court would rule removing Canada unconstitutional. I said that weeks ago, Planet Sega Saturn. Weeks ago. I had Popog on. He brought a whole chart. There's a whole chart. We went through it and looked at what was likely to happen. There was an entire flow chart. And we all decided, I thought that it was a 9 and 0. And that's what I expected. That's what he expected. That's what Thomas expected. That's what we thought would happen, is a 9 and 0 saying, no, Colorado can't do that. Because of the shocking ramifications of them saying, yes, the 14.3 is self-executing. Self-executing 14.3 throws shitloads of other law into effect, and it would cause a ripple that would be just hundreds of hours of uh, decisions and arguments and discussions. Even if it went down for the most likely branch we agreed on. Yeah. It went down exactly where we thought it would. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it good. I can still think that he did an insurrection. Donald Trump did an insurrection. I think he did. It seems, when I look at the information, when I look at what happened, when I look at the things that he said, he did an insurrection. Now, 14.3 is written in such a way that it shouldn't be self-executing, and that means that the Congress has to execute it. If they did, I would give them all a high five and tell them they did a good job. Uh, okay, well, credit for not being 100% brain dead like most libtards. You guys thought you had him this time. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. I think it's fun and interesting to watch the court of Colorado say, hey, this is an insurrection. We can't do it. So they needed that decision to go up to the Supreme Court. It did. The system is working. The system is working as intended. The system is working properly as intended, and that's a good thing. Now, Popog, what do you think if they brought it up in Congress? Is it acceptable for Congress to come out and say, this guy did an insurrection, he is no longer allowed on any ballot, federal ballot? And what if it passed? What if it did? I would consider myself a leftist. Liberals aren't far enough left for me, you know, and I'm not upset by it. I'm a leftist. Uh, Planet Sega Saturn. There's a difference. Uh, Not that it hurts my feelings. I don't care. That's what I want to do here is argue with you. That's why I'm here. I'm a leftist. See, much better. Um, Sheep poster, how you doing, man? Libertard is such a meaningless type of insult. Really, you gotta be 12 to use it on random ass people. Well, that's all right. It's not hurting my feelings any. I don't mind. So what? Okay, you guys give me your opinion. Should the Congress be allowed to vote to make him not eligible? Congress gets together. They're very important people. They make a decision. They said Donald Trump did an insurrection on January 6th, and we say that he, according to the 14th Amendment, point 3, is not eligible. And then they vote, and it passes. Is that acceptable? Look, it's my IT support. Hi, IT support. Oh, hey, look, it's also a dog. Come here, dog.
Check him out.
I know. I gotta. get those numbers, you know? Oh, see, I was baiting people in with the title tonight, but I'm also baiting people in with the kids and the puppies,
Title.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Makes sense.
So, hi, this is Bobo. Hi, Bobo. He does not want to be up here. What does he want? He wants you?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Oh.
No, he's being silly today. The Supreme Court ruled that Congress has the right to remove candidates from the ballot on federal level, not state. But then again, whenever the justification, we all know that the decisions would be considered the appointments. A dog? I'll catch it. You can't catch him. He's too fast. Anyone who believes that the foundational ideas of our republic clearly thinks that that will be okay. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, great. We're all in agreement here. Also, Clarence refused to recuse himself for all the conflicts. I know that guy's a fucking piece of shit. Can we all agree on that? Clarence Thomas, piece of shit. His wife is literally a Q-pilled QAnon dipshit who is working her ass off to break the government for Donald Trump's benefit. And I don't like that. That sounds like a bad plan. I am going to, let's see, do we have any other things to talk about tonight? No, not there, and not there. Not important. I'm going to start a video game, and I'm going to turn text-to-speech on. So if you're here, if you're watching, if you're paying attention, here in just a sec, the lovely Lady Canooch will be here to read your feelings to me. So we're going to go here. We're going to press that button. And she should be on now. Also, Clarence refused to recuse. Yeah.
My wife has ideas I might not hold, therefore I need to recuse myself from my job. What? Clarence is an old-school Thomas Sowell type of conservative. His wife is the crazy one, but he also is very friendly with a lot of hedge funds and consulting firms, people who have vested interest in.
Yeah, in the Donald Trump speech, my wife has ideas that I might not hold, therefore I need to recuse myself from my job. His wife has very, very strong political ties to one side. One side is his wife. She's not a wishy-washy independent voter. She is a Q-pilled, hard right-wing MAGA lover, and she will do whatever. She was on. Uh, she's in what's. She's got texts with people who are running the fake elector
That
scheme.
doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. People are doing fake. People are sending fake electors
It's
to.
not him.
It's not him. It's his wife, the
I
person
do
that he
not
sleeps in the
believe
bed next
Clarence
to.
Thomas is a MAGA person. He's just your typical bootstraps judge. He believes his own BS.
If it were any other judge, if it weren't the SCOTUS, they would have been asked to recuse themselves, and it would have been the
No
smart thing
matter
to
what,
do.
we can expect Thomas to come up with the most wacky, insane decision in this case and all cases.
He's the wild card. Yeah, I suppose. Everybody needs a wild card. Ugh, I hate that idea, but maybe wild card. Everybody has to have a wild card, I suppose. All right. Let's get Steam started. How about that? Where are you, Steam? I see you. Can't hide from me. Uh, but if you're watching, give us your hot takes. Give us your political hot takes, your cold takes, all that
At
fun stuff.
Capo G42, the most wacky and dumb ruling or opinions a Supreme Court judge has made in recent history is not Thomas, it's Alito. That motherfucker makes shit up, especially on the abortion decision.
Okay, that's the allegation. That's a hot take. Sheet poster, I like it. Alito is making shit up. Um, yeah,
You don't have a right to kill babies, sorry.
they're not babies. The fetuses.
I didn't say Thomas' rulings were dumb, just wacky.
Just wacky.
He's an out-of-the-box thinker.
Out of his mind thinker, maybe.
That's not a baby, not medically, and we don't go by S in legal disputes. But sometimes the box is the correct place to be. Life begins at conception.
Planet Sega Saturn. That's a cool feeling you have. That's a cool opinion you got there, boss.
Says who?
But No, I
Join the
mean,
Discord to send links and suggestions. https Discord GG Benet Tridix 8.
thanks, Canooch. All right,
At science.
life begins at conception. That is a fun opinion you have, and you can build your entire life around that. But I don't have to build my entire life around that.
At Planet Sega Saturn, citations needed.
I don't mind
How do you explain someone being charged with DBL murder when they kill a pregnant woman?
Double murder when...
Life certainly begins at conception. It's a question of when rights begin.
I like that answer.
Says my religion, so everyone has to conform to my beliefs.
I know, that's the issue, isn't it?
Okay, so you saying it doesn't begin at conception is also a feeling, no?
Yes, it is a feeling. Couch Baby, welcome to the stream. All politics are based on feelings. Even yours.
At Couch Baby, that's not a scientific opinion, that's a legal decision based on legal conventions.
But law can't be based off feelings. So what you get is the law
Slavery
chooses.
used to oblega L, don't make it right.
And what happens is that the politicians play on your feelings, then get the law passed, get the judges in place to enact the law on those feelings. All politics is based on feelings. All of them. Mine, yours, everyone's. It was, who was it that had that amazing opinion a moment ago? It was Planet Sega Saturn.
Cultural conventions codified into law are not science.
I agree. Cultural
Fetus
conventions
versus
codified into
babies,
law.
that's a distinction that relies on Latin, a Latin word that means offspring.
Acceptable. You have a feeling
Bro,
about where
you
those
just
are.
said we don't go by S in legal disputes. This is a legal dispute. I think Mississippi or some red state banned 3D dildos. Don't make it fucking right.
Couch Baby, just so we
Offspring
go by...
more like on spring break.
Alright, let's switch over here. We're gonna hit that button. Where's the button?
At Couch Baby, cultural conventions are S.
Cultural conventions are feelings. Yes, I agree. And those feelings convince people to vote for a candidate. That candidate then puts people in charge and passes laws.
It's not a scientific opinion to pull up a legal case based on legal precedents that has nothing to do with science. Can we just agree that killing babies is immoral?
I would agree killing babies is immoral, but killing fetuses isn't immoral.
Cultural conventions are usually full of weebs watching anime. Apparently we can't agree killing babies is immoral. Okay, so you get how you just contradicted yourself, correct?
No, that's not a contradiction
at
at all.
Planet Sega Saturn, babies, yes, zygotes, no. Six-month-old humans aren't babies.
6-month-old humans are babies if they've been born.
At Couch Baby, didn't contradict myself. You cannot distinguish between legality versus science. Legality does not determine scientific fact. They're antinios. 6-month-old babies are antinios.
I think you're just making up words now. Sorry, I'm trying to get my chats back up so I can see them.
Latin making up words.
Goofed. All words are made up. So yeah.
What if the baby has a nuclear disarm code in their skull and the only way to stop the bombs is to switch the trolley?
Now you're getting somewhere. Now it's exciting. Now we know where we're at.
All 6-month-old babies are made up words.
All 6-month-old babies are made up words. It's true.
Nice Pop OG42. At Pop OG42 debate perverts be like. At that's not a baby, not medically, and we don't go by S in legal disputes. That's not a scientific opinion, that's a legal decision based on legal conventions. They're also playing on the linguistic ambiguity, what they consider a baby when a zygote is not a baby even by the most basic scientific terms. Made up all words are babies.
Made up all words are babies. This is... Chat's on it tonight. This is fun. You guys are great. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Let's see.
Join the Discord to send links and suggestions. https Discord GG Benet Tridix 8. Babies are not scientific descriptors. So leftist maniacs hang on a semantic dispute for their argument.
All arguments are semantic.
Like goat and goat babies are called kids.
All arguments are semantic.
I am whining this debate so hard.
All
So
debates
we
are
don't go
semantic.
by S in legal disputes, we just go by cultural conventions, which are S.
She's goofing me. Don't go by fees and legal disputes. We go by cultural
Oof, if
conventions.
all arguments are semantic, it's all opinion.
Right.
So there are
Welcome.
no arguments.
Oh,
Tacos
exactly.
are babies. You winning in your head
Zayla,
would
now you're
describe
getting
the
it.
idea that a medical
Get outta
procedure
here.
is muted nothing by metaphysical shit, it's not based on any science.
Zayla, you're getting it.
That's the whole thing. Check out Waldo's videos https www.youtubecom at Waldo videos. Semantics like the Jews. I mean, I fully get it, but I wholly disagree.
I've been suggesting it since I started the stream, but it's a very simple mantra that everything is political, and all politics is based on feelings. All of them. Yours, mine, everybody's politics is based on feelings. There is no math problem that suggests that gay people should be allowed to get married. There's no math problem.
Simple always means correct. Every time.
I don't think I agree
Also,
with
it's
that.
fact that access to contraceptives, proper prenatal care, including abortion, reduces unwanted pregnancies and improves income inequality, also protects health of mothers.
It sure does, which is
Simple
why it's a
and
good
clean
idea.
is the way that you're making me feel tonight. So let stop glorifying simple arguments then. Can
Let's
you be
stop
more
glorifying simple
anti-semantic?
arguments. Anti-semantic. I should talk less? Is that what that means?
States where contraceptives and abortion is sophisticated reduces abortion rates.
I agree. Sheep poster. That's
Lol.
true.
Anti-semantic, sure.
Stop talking.
It's a fact. Anti-sements. Lol. It's a strong pro as real argument. But sure, abortion is baby murder cause it's a soundbite. He's Tismantite, wow.
Anti-semantite. Most exciting chat I've ever had, I think. I appreciate it, guys. If you're
Is
not
that a
already,
new mineral?
if you're not already a follower, press the follow
At
button.
Zella 770 lol. You can thank the YouTube algorithm.
The algorithm, yeah, it's out to get me, but it did me a favor this time.
Sure, why not, brother?
So usually, this is what Mondays are like. Wednesdays, we're gonna play with my.
I am just shitposting cause I am high on coffee. I am playing FF7. I need some anti-sementite for a new Buster sword.
Is that what? Is that it? Is that what they need it for? Does it drop from
I am high on
certain
vodka.
turtles? So yeah, Mondays are usually a couple of headlines, and then we turn on the chat, and then we all argue with each other while I play video games. And then Wednesdays we're going to play Baldur's Gate, because Thomas assures me that there
At
are
Zella 770 middle of the week, that sounds depressing.
complicated moral decisions that we're going to have issues about. We're going to play Ethics and Dragons, and he's a conservative and I'm a leftist, and we're going to look at these complicated Baldur's Gate 3 scenarios and come to different moral terms on it, I suppose. That's his plan. And then on Saturdays we do longer, complicated, usually philosophical arguments about what is a crime, and what isn't.
I am playing Divinity Original Sin 1 for now. Drinking alcohol in the middle of the week sounds based while you're just drinking a bunch of caffeine and getting the jitters. My boss DWI and killed a person, now I am in charge.
Zayla,
What is a crime?
is that,
Pineapple on pizza.
is that congratulations or condolences? I don't know, man. Default. It's nice, but not nice. What is a crime? Pineapple on pizza. Pineapple on pizza is a
Condolences,
crime.
please chat.
I agree. Condolences to Zayla and his boss that killed a person. Also bad.
I speak for everyone here when I say that drunk driving should be legalized.
Now there's a hot take. You want to stand by that? It seems like a bad idea. But I don't mind taking
Killing
it.
while DWI is a social convention.
I'm playing straight man tonight while chat goes off the rails. Usually, I'm the one who's saying extreme things.
Please stand by that social convention planet Sega Saturn. Pineapple on pizza, this chat too spicy for me. Legalized, why not mandatory? At Planet Sega Saturn sounds like someone got their license taken away, now they're griefing.
Spicy chat tonight. I love it. Yeah, pineapple on pizza, horrible, nightmare, disgusting. Only mandatory, you're only allowed to drive with a beer in your hand. I'm kind of okay with that. Imagine driving sober.
Imagine driving sober. Boring.
I mean, what would you drink, honestly? I mean, they're called road sodas.
I bring the Carolina Reaper. Please define leftism for me.
Leftism. There's a lot of different flavors. Start with liberal
Gotta
and then
drive
get
at
smarter.
Balmer's Peak. It's the safest way to drive.
Start with liberal and then become smarter and realize that they kind of don't
Take your
care.
time and I am open to revision.
Generally, what I would suggest is that a leftist would be wanting a egalitarian government that maximizes freedom without harming anyone, within the bounds of not harm.
Start with liberal and remove the support for free speech.
Popog, don't start. But I
Goddamn.
will discuss that with you later if you'd like. The left-leaning suggestion on if a fascist built a
I was
society,
open to what Waldo was saying.
if a
Join the
fascist
Discord to send links and suggestions.
built a society, it would be a
https
pyramid.
Discord GG Beignet Tridix 8.
like a pyramid with Donald Trump at the top, then his cabinet, and then all the
At
other people.
Popo G42 based, also remove all individual rights that make you a liberal.
And then underneath that are the white business class, and then underneath that is the regular people. Then underneath that is like the immigrants, and underneath that is the transes and the gays. And they would be like fifth class citizens at that point.
I think the definition of harm is going to be the problem.
It always is, Zayla, but you need a working judicial system to
Why the
determine
white
harm.
business class are you discounting the black business class?
In
As far as I see, the distinction,
fascists?
leftism is largely anti-capitalist or capitalist skeptical and ultimately aims to move away from capitalism. This distinguishes leftism from left-leaning people who are
mostly about sophisticated regulatory mechanisms allow for private markets to exist under a social democracy that is rather ambiguous. That is a leftist's economic plan sheet poster, yes. But I was talking more along the social lines.
I agree,
Egalitarianism.
neighborly chef.
Egalitarianism would be that all people are equal. You don't have first-class citizens. You don't have people with more rights. You don't have people that have more social standing. The America
Social
of
lines are
a long time
ambiguous
ago,
cause. You can have a right-winger that even can be faux some social causes. Like conservationalism. The black business class is inherently a party of whiteness because they made lots of money, and being rich and successful is a part of whiteness. Or something.
I don't know
I
about
do
that.
agree that all people are equal under the Creator God.
And we should strive to make people equal. If one group of people, I would like for the justice system to give people the same punishment for speeding, depending on
Look,
who
I
they are.
am
It doesn't
just
matter.
telling you what leftists tell me.
So a social hierarchy that is just flat, not a pyramid. If you take the worst of the right-wing fascists, the Germans, the Nazis of World War II, they were building a pyramid where at the top
Ibram
were
Xylitol Kendi says so. Also, some leftists under the guise of social causes often borderline do some racist shit or paternalize minorities or romanticize the oppressed groups to a point of caricature. I find that to be ethnoc. But that's the nuance.
That is a difficulty. The soft bigotry of low expectations, I think they call that, where you slow walk everybody else and be like, oh, well, the black people can just get a B and we'll call it an A because we can't
In the
expect
United
them to do
States,
any
all
better.
speeders are charged the same.
That's also racist and not good. Speeders are charged the same. Yeah, I would hope so. But that's not always true for drug crimes.
OMG, Waldo acknowledges the soft bigotry. I am hooked.
I recognize what soft bigotry is. And what may not be completely even right now is drug charges. There are a lot of people in the black community who are suggesting that they get charged more harshly for having crack than a white guy in Wall Street does with cocaine, even though it's the same drug. If they are getting worse sentences, we would have to put together some sort of study. We would have to figure it out. We'd have to look at math and
the most prototypical example is leftist social activist elevating Native Americans to a point of a cartoonish ideal when in reality they're people too who did shitty stuff as well, speaking purely duh. I think the main thing is most people are fucking idiots and systemic racism is actually hard to understand, so most leftists who talk about it get it wrong and end up actually believing racist shit.
I can see that, Popog.
Also, it treats them more as a monolith.
Yeah, that is not a good thing to
I completely agree. Everyone should be equally charged for drug use possession, which is to say not at all.
Hey, now you're a leftist, Zayla. Welcome to the party, comrade. Yes, Popog, you're right, and that's the thing, is systemic racism wasn't something being taught to kindergartners. It was a complicated, intellectual, academic thing that got studied. But because it sounds like reverse racism. My friend was
just in a native studies class and the cartoonishness was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, and because
One of US. Lol, I can't agree necessarily with all drugs. If legalized, better regulated. I don't want people abusing the system like the Sackler family for some type of drugs.
Yeah, I could see that too.
My understanding of leftism is that even terms of man and woman are malleable, which I can't join.
Good, let's not have any. Gender abolitionism. Look up gender abolitionism. No genders. There's not two. There's an infinite number. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Literally half the class was basically all natives were the same and were in perfect harmony with nature and each other. Does gender abolitionism rid terms of sex from medical journals?
No. Sex and gender are two different things.
Well, that's more of a placeholder for leftist views, but gender is socially constructed. That's mostly accepted in the medical field. It differs from your typical sex.
Right. I'd agree, sheep poster. And if it's a performance, you can just change that
I am open to 2-3 sexes and infinite genders.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're a gender abolitionist. There we go. And then all your...
IT should NT be political to know gender is cultural. Or
everything is political. It shouldn't be political or controversial. It is, because everything is political. Everything is political, you guys. Literally everything. All the things is politics.
Can I post somewhere the list I made showing examples of how Umberto's list applies to a leftist as much as it does the fascist? Would post it here, but it would be a lot for text-to-speech.
That sounds fine.
Everything is political, like. The way I see it, not
Discord
everything is political, but you can make everything political.
Oh, I think everything is.
That's my approach. I am a social constructionism abolitionist. Social construction isn't real, it's a made-up cultural convention and we should get rid of it. Discord. https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8. Is 1 + 1 political?
Is 1 + 1 political? Well, listen here,
I
boss.
am in the cord, just not sure where to post in there.
Are you using Roman numerals or Japanese kanji?
At Zella 770 no. At Couchbaby https Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
Zella,
At Couchbaby General is fine. I am using binary.
You're using binary. Okay, well that's kind of a political choice, isn't it? You're speaking a language that's attached to a country. You're speaking English. I'm speaking English. English, that's a country. That sounds political. And we're using Roman numerals most of the time. That's a choice, isn't it? Why aren't we using Japanese kanji?
I am using base 1, you racist.
Base
No,
1?
it's the basest choice. I am not sure what country binary is attached to.
Yeah.
At Popo G42, recognizing some things are cultural conventions does not mean abolishing it. We're social creatures. We desire conventions, we desire social connections, and we create roles, hierarchies, and our Pinot arithmetic only.
Pinot arithmetic. What is Pinot arithmetic? Is that like Pinochet? Like, what are we talking about? Are we going South American? You usually go South American, Bobog.
Check out Waldo's videos, https www.youtubecom at Waldo videos. Pinot is too complex. Embrace binary.
Okay, so
Pinot sounds like penis. Listen to
Pinot.
the humming transistor.
What is that? That's orange. I wonder what that is. Pinot and binary sound more like computer languages, which is slightly less political, but even then, if you dig hard enough, you can find some bit of politics. I'm not saying everything needs to be and should be viewed as political choices, but the language you speak, the systems you live into, the way you get to work, all political. The hours, the numbers that you use, everything is political. And a lot of it we can just agree on. Most of it we can agree on. And some things are more important politically to argue about. The laws
I see that things can have levels which can leave out the political lens as well as add it. That's why I say not everything is political, but you can make it political.
Yeah.
I am open to expelling my language hours, etc., and jettisoning it out to space.
Zell, you're gonna be. I don't know what this is. You're a. I don't think that's nihilism. I think we're going for positive nihilism. What's a positive nihilist who just gives up everything? You're kind of a Buddhist monk, Zella? Is that what you're going for? You're a Buddhist monk who sits completely still and meditates all day?
Jetsons, the distant future of 1997.
Can I help you?
Space, how political? Why not into no space? I am an existentialist and am chosen by Creator God to accept Jesus.
That sounds like a hell of a lot of pressure. Good luck with that. Assemble abomination. What the hell is that?
Lol, I appreciate it.
When you release a summon...
As Tim Curry once said, I am going to the only place capitalism cannot reach me. Space. Red alert, quote, good Owen.
The one place capitalism cannot reach me. Space. Yeah, it was good. All right. We're going to put our bone golem in there. Bam. Bone golem.
Existentialism is the solution to nihilism. Get fucked, cuck. If you would like to take a look at my response, it is in general, would like to see what you say about it at some point.
Okay. Do I have this here? Let me see. Well, that's Steam. Derp.
Existentialism denies existence too much for me.
Existentialism denies existence. Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it means. It just sounds cool. Sounds insane to me. Couch Baby has posted a debunking of Umberto's list.
Existentialism says existence precedes.
What do we got? We've got the leftist rejects liberalism for a form of government, generally a form of Marxism, that was shown to be ineffective. So how do they argue with number two? What was number two? Hang on. Boop, 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 doop, doop, doop. Where is my thing? There it is. Getting it going. Here we go. You started with number two. I assume you didn't include number one?
Not quite a debunking, mostly a showing that the list has little value as most everything easily maps onto the leftist.
Easily? Easily? Okay. Number 1, culture tradition.
Yes, at the end I explain 1 and 11 being missing.
Okay. 1 and 11 being missing.
Please
Okay,
repost these numbers. Too much vodka to join a Discord at the moment.
Okay. Number 1, culture tradition is explained at the end. We're going to save that for last. Rejection of modernism. Let me bring it up on screen. How about we be a good streamer? I'm not one.
One is a right-wing moral foundation, so I do agree it doesn't map very well onto the leftist.
Boop, boop,
I
boop,
fully
doop,
enjoy
doop, doop.
rejecting modernism.
We're going to turn off. Where are you? Cam capture. There you are. You move. But we're going to turn on window capture. We're going to go right there. Maybe. There it is. Okay, so number 1, the culture tradition. I think that Donald Trump and the Republicans absolutely embody the culture tradition. They talk about the way things used to be. They want to drag us back. They think Leave It to Beaver was a fucking documentary. It wasn't. It was fiction. That's the way they think that the world used to be back in the 50s, and that's the way they want to go drag it back to. I'm old. Listen, I'm old. Do you know what the conservative Republicans were talking
Again, I
about
am not
in the
saying
80s?
these points don't
I
map
know,
onto
I know.
DT.
I know you're not, but I'm
Wouldn't embracing
saying that they are,
liberalism
and then
be
I'm
a
going to
way
read
of
yours.
used to embracing the world as well?
We'll go back and forth.
Grab M by the beaver.
Would embracing liberalism be a way of embracing the world? A way of used to embrace the world? No, it's liberalism is future, forward facing. Tomorrow, what's going on tomorrow? So, culture tradition definitely applies to Donald Trump and the MAGAs. We were skipping that. So number 2, the rejection of modernism. I think Donald Trump and the Republicans do not want new things. They don't want forward thinking stuff. They want backward. Make America great again. Backward, like it used to be. Put all the gays and the transes back in the closet where they were. Do not let the black people become president. Do not let so many Mexican people into the country. Make it back the way it used to be. So that is them rejecting modernism. They don't.
Aren't we going over Couch Babas list?
We are, but he started at number 2. So now, number 2 from him is the leftists reject liberalism. The leftists reject liberalism for a form of government, generally a form of Marxism, that was shown to be ineffective in the modern world in the 20th century. So they're rejecting modernism? No, the Marxism can only come from a liberal democracy. Marxism can't be done from the sheep herders and the rural subsistence farmers of 18th century Russia. It can't. We know that. It can only come.
Postmodernism would be a rejection of modernism.
No, it would be afterward. If you're saying we had modernism and now we've got something newer and better, or which is what the liberals would do, the rejection of modernism for
By
the
rejecting
Republicans would go
liberalism,
backward.
you are rejecting the Enlightenment.
No, I'm working to better it.
Postmodernism is a reaction, not rejection of modernism.
Yeah, I agree with Zayla there. Here's modernism, and we're going to make it better,
Traditional
more modern,
conservatism
newerly
doesn't
modern.
reject change as opposed to fascism. It only accepts it if it's historically inevitable or relies on continuation of past traditions. Conservatism accepts change only. Moron, from something you must reject that thing.
No, Couch Baby, you can accept it and build upon
Hegelian
it.
dialectic is certainly a rejection of rationalism.
Hegelian dialectic is the...
For number 2, I believe the neoglobal order is attempting to go after feudalism once again. Trump and MAGA is an attempt at getting back to 1776. All men are equal under Creator God.
See, that's a rejection of modernism. Building upon modernism, a new thing, is newer modernism. It's more modern. The left doesn't reject modernism. They embrace modernism and want to go on to tomorrow's modernism. Tomorrow will be a new modernism, and it'll be the most modern. Number 3, the cult of action for
liberalism
action's
doesn't
sake.
reject feudalism or monarchy.
We built upon them to make them better. We built tribalism existed, and we built upon it to make
And I
feudalism.
do reject modernism in the face of all conservative Christians.
Well, I think that the liberalism doesn't reject feudalism, but built upon it to make a
At
better
Zella
system.
770 it's mostly a virtue signal. It plays on the romanticized notions of 1776 and somewhat 1950s, which is an odd mix. By rejecting them for something new,
No, you build
we
upon
need to go
them.
under is the sin of man.
I don't reject the
Plus the amount of leftists who literally say the Enlightenment and its values are inherently racist makes me sure that at least some of them check off number 2.
they're moving beyond it. They're being more modern than you. They would suggest, Popog and Couch Baby, that you guys are old dinosaurs
Okay,
who've
so
been
if
left
I
in the
just say
past.
fascism builds on liberalism, then you have no argument.
If fascism builds
Join the
on
Discord
liberalism,
to
it doesn't,
send
though.
links and suggestions. https discord gg benet tritix 8. We must reject tribalism.
What I'm saying,
At
Couch Baby,
Popo G42, oh hey, look, a good point. At Popo G42, you need to stay off Twitter. If you treat Twitter users that identify ASW on the left with such opinions as representative, then you should touch grass.
the modernism is a base. It is a foundation upon which we built a new modernism, and then we built another one, and then we built upon that, and then we built another one, and then we built upon that. The left moves forward and upward. So we think that we have built on a nice, stable base.
Modernism was built in 1920, though, correct?
Yeah, modernism 1920, and we have moved
I am
so
not
much farther
referencing
beyond that.
Twitter, I am referring to my friends' community college classes.
So, number
But
3.
there are
We're
more
moving on to number 3.
leftists on Twitter than anywhere else in the West.
I thought old Elon chased him off. Anyway, number 3. The cult of action for action's sake,
At
which
Couch
dictates
Baby,
the
it's
action
called La Confirmation Bias,
is the
cause you
value
sit
in
on it.
itself and should be taken without intellectual reflection. I think this perfectly describes Donald Trump. What did you say to number 3? Mr. Couch Baby, the leftist dictates that progress must take place for progress' sake, ignoring science when it does not affirm his progress. Vaccine mandates, male to female, female sports. Those are progress, and they think that they have the science. I'm not arguing. I'm not going to argue the science with you. I'm saying they think that they are correct in the science, and they've got scientists that back them up. The vaccine mandates are progress. The male to female, female sports is a very difficult thing that I don't want to take a stance on, but because I don't give a
believe
shit.
MAGA is calling for no action, but is also without intellectual reflection.
No, they're calling for actions, boss. They call for actions all the time. Build that wall, make America great again, drill baby drill. That calls for all kinds of actions, you know?
And the fascist thinks they have the science, so what do we do now?
We have to have
I
a
think a lot of
scientific
people
debate.
on the left think we need to do action for action's sake for homelessness and racism more than these examples.
I could see
Building a
that
wall is action.
fitting, Popog. I really
Drilling
could.
for oil is an action.
Yeah, of course it is. Popog, I think you actually have
MAGA
a good
calls
point.
for a lot of action. Violet at that Nikki Haley alone got a lot of death threats from the MAGA people. Nations do these every day. Just cause she runs against Trump.
Okay, number 4.
Society needs to keep on changing and going forward. The past wasn't all wrong or bad because we wouldn't be here without it, but if we keep looking back, then we'll die slowly.
I agree. Codename Titten Zebra.
At Popo
Very nice name.
G42, this is fair, and you are probably correct in that these are better examples than mine. Building walls, drilling for oil, these are happening every day.
Sure, Zayla. Okay, number 4. Disagreement
Thank
is
you, sir.
treason. Fascism values intellectual discourse and critical reasoning as barriers to action, as well as out of the fear that such analysis will expose the contradictions embodied within the syncretistic faith. Oh, Jesus. Disagreement is treason. Donald Trump tells you this every
I want to build a
fucking
wall out of
day.
oil and make the Saudis pay for it. Number 4, Trump is not trying to cancel me for disagreeing.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is. He said it. He said, when I'm elected,
At Popo
I will
G42,
root out
to be
all
fair,
the
they could afford
fascists
it.
and the
He is not.
Marxists and the vermin that they are. He said it. He wants to make disagreement treason. He will kick out everybody in the government if he's elected again who is not
I am neither
ideologically
fascist,
okay with him.
Marxist, nor vermin.
Yeah, I know. And he's going to say that you are, Zayla. He will say that you are because you disagree with him. If you disagree with him, he will say that you are. So, number 4, cancel culture. Cancel culture is the biggest fucking scam. There's no such thing. Cancel culture doesn't exist.
Trump
It
factually
doesn't.
tried to use his position to silence journalists and even threatened the NFL while in office during the Take a Knee protest. Either it's Trump way or no way for him. Wait, he said that fascists were vermin and he wanted to root them out. Doesn't sound very fascist to me.
He's
I
lying,
am not
Couch
arguing that it
Baby.
works.
He's lying
I
to
am listening
you.
to
He
cancel
is the
culture doesn't
fascist.
exist. I might learn something.
He also said Marxists. He said Marxist, fascist, vermin, liberal, leftist, monster. I'll find the quote later. But he said he would root them out. What does he mean by that?
At Couchbaby, Hitler literally run on the workers' platform and unions before he got into power.
Couch Baby, he's lying to you. The National Socialists, the Nazis, were not socialist at all. Yet it's in their name. The Federalist Party, as I have been arguing with, the Federalist Society, as I have been arguing with
Exactly.
Thomas, doesn't practice federalism. The People's Republic of North
their
Korea,
unwanted roots taking up space in their gardens.
the Democrat, it's
Yes, they were
DPRK,
out.
the DPRK, Democratic People's
It's like
Republic
saying
of
North
Korea.
Korea is democratic cause they say so and have the democratic in the name.
DPRK,
How
Democratic
naive are you?
People's Republic of Korea. They are not democratic. They are not of the people. They are not a republic. They are Korea. So 3 out of 4 of the words in their literal name is lies. The people on the right will lie to you.
China claims to be democratic.
And they're not. Sheep posters got it. They're not. They claim
Russia
to be, yet
claims
they're
to be
lying to you.
democratic.
Russia claims to be democratic. They're not. They lie to you a lot, so you have to look at what
Do
is
you
happening.
believe there could be a thing that is socialism but non-global, only national?
Be a thing that is socialism but not global, only national. Maybe. But if it's in, say, South America, North America will go and smash it with our capitalist might. Uh, they keep trying that shit, Popog, down in South America. We keep stomping the shit out of them for it because it's
So national Bolshevism.
national
At
Bolshevism.
Godwin's law, market socialism can exist. You can have private markets that are democratically owned.
I would love for
Sure,
that.
it exists in social democracies.
So we're going to keep reading, though. Cancel culture. Cancel culture isn't real. It's not a thing. When people who got fired from their job for saying something racist, that's just capitalism. If you are harming the company's bottom line with your words into a camera, they will fire you.
Cancel culture is just another word for public backlash.
Exactly.
That's it. How cell culture be real if our eyes aren't real? Shit ain't new.
Then what the problem is, you've got these right-wing people screaming bloody murder about cancel. I got kicked off of Twitter. Oh, I got kicked off of YouTube for saying the horrible, racist, terrible things. That's because you're bad for their business. Their business is making money, okay? And you are harming their money. If it were the government coming after
MAGA complaining about capitalism, I am open.
you, if it were the government coming after you, or putting you in jail for the words you said, that I think would be cancel culture. That would be against your First Amendment. But it's the right that wants to put things in legal words. There's a bill in Missouri that would put people in jail, charge them a felony for affirming a student's chosen gender. That is the government telling you what, if you say it, you go to jail.
We're not saying the First Amendment is a social convention, are we?
It's the highest order of social
I will admit
conventions.
there is an insane tendency on Twitter to find villains of the week, and sometimes people get caught in that dumpster fire of an outrage-full culture.
Sure, but that's
Waldo
Twitter.
opposes the First Amendment, so
No, I
freedom of
don't.
speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences from your speech.
There we go.
And yes, explicitly public backlash by the left wing for those people who disagree with their politics.
Entirely possible.
But
That's
it should.
society.
What state did
Couch
you
baby.
just say this bill is in?
Missouri. It's a one of the southern states, Missouri.
At found the retard.
Don't call people that, gosh baby, or I'll mute you. We're having a good time.
At Couchbaby asked Gillette how they weren't getting canceled by red hat wearing folks.
Okay, so cancel culture isn't real. It doesn't even have anything to do with number 4 on this list. I'm going to say number 4, disagreement is treason. Treason is a crime. No one was brought up on charges.
So what would be a left treason?
No one was brought up on
Ask
charges.
how a beer brand wasn't getting canceled by conservatives.
A beer brand wasn't
Nice
getting
thing to
canceled.
call me that, friend. Wanna elaborate on it?
No, Codename. He's not gonna elaborate on that because I told him not to. The treason is a crime. Getting kicked off of Twitter is not a legal sentence.
There was this trans person who promoted a beer brand.
I know. Yeah, I remember. And then, but that was the beer brand choosing to do that. And if their customers don't like the choice that the beer brand makes, then
It
they're
got
allowed
so
to
much
leave.
backlash, conservatives were making videos claiming they would not buy it and wanted it gone.
Yeah, I know.
And you have less
That's
than
cancel
room temp
culture.
IQ.
That's cancel culture. But when conservatives agree with the cancel culture, they like it, and it's great, and it's not cancel culture. It's just go woke, go broke. So I don't think I'm looking
Check
at
out
your
Waldo's videos,
list here.
https
Cancel culture has nothing to do with this number 4.
www.youtubecom at Waldo videos.
Number 5, fear of difference, which
So
fascism
claiming
seeks
this
to
type of thing
exploit
is
and
left-wing is
exacerbate,
outright stupid.
often in the form of racism
Hold
and the
on,
appeal
Waldo.
against foreigners and immigrants. What's up? Fear of difference. Are you going to talk about number 4?
Where is Waldo?
He's here.
I am not comfortable that conservatives are on board with cancel culture. They have not weaponized the government, although they still could in the future.
Oh, I think that's coming, Zayla. I think that is absolutely coming. Donald Trump has promised that he would. He said he was going to go and investigate all his political opponents. That judge
I am
from New
looking at
York?
this numbered list, and leftists are more guilty.
I can't imagine how. Go to the Discord and describe to me how they're more guilty.
Donald Trump promises a lot of things.
Yeah, he does, and I'm gonna take those seriously. I
And
am.
he's full of shit.
Well, then why is he winning? Why does he get to win if he's full of shit and
Cancel
promising things that
culture
he's
is
not
just
going to
sort
do?
of a backlash culture that was bred by cynical yellow journalism that fuels the whole click rage bait money-making machine that a lot of online platforms thrive on. Engage. And I did not claim that only the left did it, only that cancel culture is the name for it done by the left. Oof, advertising your Discord, I am sold. It's a sad reality of social media. I am going to take him seriously except when he says he will root out fascists.
So I have to know when he's being serious and when he's not? That sounds like a terrible, terrible choice for a leader. Sometimes the things he says are serious, except the other times when he's totally trolling and making it up. You don't know which one it is, I don't know which one it is, and we won't know until after he pushes the
All men are never serious.
the legislation through. Okay, I'm going to keep going down your list. Your list has number 5, fear of difference in opinion. The leftist
If you
does
claim to know
fear.
when he lies, then yes, you need to know. He literally wanted to terminate parts of the Constitution he didn't like.
Yeah.
I don't think number 4 is talking about literal crimes, though the description seems to talk about it as a way to silence dissent, which check your privilege is certainly meant to do. Take a hint.
Yes, slightly. The check your privilege and cancel culture is meant to make a better, more accepting culture. Isn't
All
that good?
presidents
Don't we
want
want
to
it to be better?
terminate parts of the Constitution, thanks Congress, Supreme Court.
Number 5, fear of difference in opinion. The leftist does fear and exploit the right-wing political thought difference. I don't know what you're talking about here. The leftist does, fears, and exploits the right-wing political thought difference. Fear of difference in opinion. Fear of difference. I think that fits more under 4, but I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Number 6, I mean this is literally
At
the
Zealous
base of almost all
770,
modern
amending the
politics.
Constitution is not the same as personally deciding on what to terminate during your tenure.
Appeal to the frustrated
Two
middle
different
class,
things.
fearing economic pressure for them to
Leftism
bans and
doesn't
disperse.
fear
Yeah,
and
they both
exploit the
do that.
MAGA thought difference. You don't see that. The difference in opinion between left and right.
I can see that the Dems also do number 6. But what do they appeal to the frustrated middle class by doing? When Biden goes out there and talks about the middle class, he talks about how your roads are falling apart, how your
Leftism
kids
is
need to
more
be
fearful than the
educated,
right at the moment.
and you need good jobs. When the right goes out there, they go. Donald Trump says that
Check
the
your
Mexican
privilege is
rapists are
meant to
coming to
silence
murder you.
dissent or criticism made by non-minorities. Internalized racism is meant to silence criticism by minorities. I am not talking
Popog,
about
I
Biden.
think you're saying that It's the base of all you're
I think
saying.
you're
This
just
list.
wrong on 4, but like censorship.
Well, I don't know who's wrong about what. Okay, number 7, Russiagate, capitalism is evil.
Do you think Biden is a leftist?
Do I think Biden is a leftist? No, he's a conservative. Russiagate, capitalism is evil. Capitalists are purposefully
Biden is
keeping
not a
people down.
leftist.
Yeah, he's not a leftist.
Biden is hell as fuck right wing.
He's a conservative. Russiagate, capitalism is evil. Capitalists are purposely keeping people down by oppressing them. Well, capitalists are keeping you
God,
down
I
to
wish
make
he
money.
was left.
Russiagate is a plot that they did
So
get
this
obsessed
list does
with.
not apply to him then, since I said this is about leftists.
Okay, great. So it's even more wrong. Uh, so let's make leftists. Okay. I'm quickly going over them. Number 2, left rejects liberalism. No, I've already been against your rejection thing. They don't reject. They build upon.
Trump is more left than Biden.
No, I don't think so, Zella. The leftist dictates that progress must take place for progress' sake. Ignoring science. I don't think they do ignore science. I can't think of a situation where the left is ignoring science. You just don't like the science that they've got. You disagree with the science. You feel like vaccine mandates and you feel like MTF in female sports
All parties
is a bad
ignore
thing.
Science.
I don't think all parties ignore science. I think they can. It was the vaccine autism thing back in the early 2000s was a leftist thing, but then they got better and they abandoned it as being incorrect.
At Zella 770 he can't cause left is good and I think Trump is bad.
The cancel culture, again, I don't think is anything
You
to do with
can't
number
show
4.
me studies where the COVID vax reduces COVID transmission.
The fear, I'm not going to argue COVID stats with you. Fear of difference in opinion. A leftist does fear and exploit the right-wing political thought difference. Yes, I tell you that they are fascist and
Trump
they will
is more
kill
of
us.
a populist that has often contributed to the left, but no, he is very far from being only slightly left. I know that's the science after all.
The code name that Trump is a fake populist. He pretends to be.
You can't show me studies where COVID is real because I just want open whatever you send me.
Good point, Popok. Head in the sand. No one will ever show you anything. Number 6. I mean, this is literally the base of almost all modern
I am
politics.
not
Again,
going
number
to
6.
argue COVID stats with you, but we leftists are science-based.
I'm not going to argue them with you. The people I trust, the people I pay attention to, the things that I look at seem to be correct. I'm not an expert on that. So I'm going to have to defer to experts on what is real and what is correct. You got it? Gee, I'm not a computer programmer either, so I'm not going to argue code with you. It doesn't mean computer code doesn't exist or isn't real or can't be measured.
People who agree with me agree with me.
The people I trust are the people I've listened to. I don't know how that doesn't make sense to you. Let's see. Trump can never win and will certainly be
And
arrested
people
any
I
day
agree
now.
with are the most sciencey.
The people who are the most of sciencey,
Join
I
the
agree
Discord
with.
to send links and suggestions.
Afterwards.
https discord gg Tridix 8.
Who's doing the science?
Flying
Read
Spaghetti
it.
Monster
This is
says
what they
that
said.
COVID doesn't exist cause I believe it doesn't. The left school closures were very unscientific.
No, they weren't. I don't think they were. Trump can never win and will certainly be arrested any day now. Trump will cause the downfall of our civilization. 8. Fascist societies rhetorically cast their enemies at the same time as too strong and too weak.
Yes, they were. I read the papers.
They were. I read the papers. Well, okay.
I don't think
I don't
they
know what
were.
you're talking about. See, this is why I didn't want to talk about it. This is why I didn't want to talk about it, Popok. This is why I wasn't going to argue with it, which is why I dismissed it offhand, or else this entire stream gets fucking derailed, and we only talk about motherfucking COVID stats,
Derailing.
and then you bring up your stats, and then I bring up my stats, and then we yell at each other, and then you say that this is a 1% increase to this thing, and I say, well, that's a 1% decrease to that other thing, and then we never get anything else done.
I want freedom from rails. No
why,
more rails.
That's why I said I'm not going to argue those with you right now. I didn't say right now. I said that I'm not going to argue those stats with you. And I meant I'm not going to argue with them right now.
Rails are basically fascism.
Rails are... Nah, maybe. They did make the trains run on time, right? Okay.
Check rails against the list.
Maybe. Let me finish with this list for. I still have...
Rails love tradition.
I still have all of Couch Baby's list here. We're still on number 8. Number 8, he's saying that fascist societies rhetorically cast their enemies as
We
at the same
leftists are
time
the
too
most
strong and too
science,
weak.
but stats are bad to argue about.
I don't have the stats, couch baby. I don't have them with me. And even if I fucking gave them to you, you would find some fucking Weasley way to whine about them and say that, oh, well, that was done by this group, and this group had a dollar from Anthony Fauci, and then they throw the whole thing out. Not arguing about that right now. Damn. I'm trying to read your list that you provided me. Number 8 suggests that they're at the same time too weak and too strong. And you're suggesting that Trump can never win, and what he did, and
I
he
don't
has
care
lots
who
of
funds the
forwards.
study.
You
Just
do.
FYI.
You do. You would yell at me.
It will just a battle of experts. I doubt that any of us are experts, though.
Exactly. Good point. All the more reason that we should listen to them and then do what they suggest. Anyway, so Trump being arrested any day now isn't because he's weak. It's because he broke the law. Trump will cause the downfall of our civilization. Yes, because he is a fascist. The left
I know
doesn't
what
think
you
that
are
he's
thinking.
weak.
10 is certainly not leftist, it's basically anti-leftist.
Number 9, pacifism is
Shame
trapping
on you,
with the
Waldo,
enemy.
for not holding COVID facts in your ass cheeks for some rondo online.
I know, right? Pacifism is trafficking with the enemy. Absolutely not. 9, silence is violence. Everything is political. That is nonsense, dude. Leftists love pacifism. They're anti-war, generally. There must always be an enemy to fight. That silence is violence? No. Everything is political? That doesn't mean you have to. Everything is political. That doesn't mean you have to fight
At
about
Popo
it.
G42 Kulak.
So 9, again, I disagree with you on number 9. 10, poor farmers are disgusting because they side with the capitalists against their own interest. 10, contempt for the weak. I don't know when has the leftist been really upset with the poor farmers side with the capitalists against it. Farmers aren't poor generally. There are like 7 family farmers left in our country. 7 of them. You can count them on one hand, and the rest are gigantic agriculture corporations that are not owned by people that are owned by gigantic corporations, and they hire a couple of people and they put those people in dirty overalls and put them in front of a camera every now and then to lie to you and talk about
Kulak.
family farms.
The kulaks were persecuted for their successful capitalism. No.
I don't know what a kulak is. Poor farmers are disgusting because they side with the capitalists against their own interest. No. 10. What are you on? Contempt for the weak. That the entire left wants to build a fucking socialist state where there is a safety net. The weak get caught in that
here
safety
goes
net.
the Halad more debate. At Popo G42, I mean, if you consider a small sub 10-acre farm successful. He's taking about the kulaks in Soviet Russia.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the kulaks in Soviet Russia off the top of my head. Contempt for the weak. It does not fit at all. Popog, you're correct. 10 is certainly not leftist. It's anti-leftist. The leftist wants to raise up the weakest so that they will be on par with everybody else. Absolutely not. 11 is at the bottom of your list, so we'll do number 12. You literally just change the rule from being non-standard sexual habits to standards that you have with the left. 12. Machismo.
When that small 10-acre farm produces 1000x the commie farms, hell yeah, I too successful.
Number 12 does not fit with the left. They're not machismo. They're, in fact, the opposite of machismo. So they're less fascist, boss. 13, selective populism. This describes the leftists to a T.
Because capitalist
remove
farming is
democratic
based in
structures and
commie
solve
farming
flat
is cringe.
egalitarian structures.
At Popo G42, my aquarium produces 100 million XA commie farm.
The people conceived monolithically have a common will and distinct from the superior viewpoint of any individual, as no passive people can ever be truly. Selective populism
Facts.
is exactly Donald Trump. Donald Trump is
Trump
the most
owns you,
selective.
lil bro.
Look, boss, I just moused over selective populism, and Donald Trump appeared. He is selectively populist. The left is actual populism.
Vote for Trump in November.
Then, what we got? Newspeak, 14. I could probably agree with this one. The left does
Stop
use
being cringe and
some
support
Newspeak.
Trump.
No, Trump is the cringe support there, Planet Sega Saturn. You just haven't realized it yet. Stick around though. I'll turn you. Don't worry. Then
Wrong.
Did not include a response
The
for
left
Rule 1
is
or 11
Newspeak out its ass.
because
You're wrong.
they do Newspeak, but they think that they're doing a better job, and if they're not, we need to rein them in. I agree. Um, Impoverished vocabulary? Fucking, wait a minute. I'm reading this again. Wait a minute. Impoverished vocabulary? Boss, they keep inventing new words. They don't do newspeak. They don't do impoverished vocabulary. To limit critical reasoning? That's all they talk about is critical reasoning. Have you ever
Big
talked to a
leist.
leftist? The left does nothing but critical reasoning, critical race theory. Uh, what was that other one? The DEI is a critical understanding of your diversity
Holy shit, you
and
can't
stuff.
just say they think they are good.
I know, I know, I know.
Listen,
Hang
and
on.
you may change your opinion. If you are not changed, then it's okay.
Newspeak, under this, impoverished vocabulary.
The
They
leftist
invent new
definition of
words.
racism is for sure an example of number 14.
I don't think so. They have a definition. Did they limit critical reasoning in that? Popog? No, they didn't. They drilled down so deeply that they had to find the base root
Critical
words.
doesn't mean critical thinking in that way.
It does. It does. What is 111? Seem to cater right-wing moral foundations and love it. I'm working on a response, but it's fairly complicated. Sure how to word it yet. Okay, so everyone is educated to become a hero.
Critical in critical race theory means Marxist.
Critical means you look at it with a critical eye, which means you critique it. Critique the race theory, critical race theory. You critique it. Marxism is one lens of critique. You can use queer
No,
theory.
it doesn't.
It literally does, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
Critical race theory is not about critical reasoning. It's literally from critical legal studies, which is not about that. This list is AIDS. You never explained why I should care what Umberto Eco says on this topic.
All right.
Have you
Why
read
should you
anything
listen
about
to him?
CRT?
Yes. 14 Ways of Looking for a Black Shirt. He is a renowned essay authored by an Italian philosopher, novelist, and Semitician. I don't know what that is. Published in 1995, the influential essay provides a comprehensive analysis of fascism. He used a critical eye and a critical lens to come up with the analysis of fascism, the definition of fascism, and discusses its fundamental characteristics and traits, drawing of Eco's personal experiences growing up in Mussolini's Italy. Planet
Umberto
Sega
Eco
Saturn.
isn't even a historian, and this is from 1995, so nobody before him had a better analysis in your view.
Nobody put together a good list, Planet Sega Saturn. He has done a job, and we should appreciate it. There's his bona fides, if you will, and he has put together this list, and I think it makes sense, because when you measure this against the Nazis, they hit every single one of them.
This list is garbage. You can apply it across the board. Think of the word critical like the word essential in essential oil.
I don't like essential oils. I only want superfluous oils, unnecessary oils. When he made this, he wrote down what the Italian fascists seemed to do and made this list.
You're peddling garbage. Stop it. Get help.
Then when we look at this list, who fits into this list? The right wing fits into this list far more than the left. Yes, the left has a couple of ideas, a couple of points on this list.
Eco was 13 when WW2 ended. Do you really think he had any real understanding of fascism at the time?
He has more than you. So I'm going to listen to him. He published books. How many books about fascism have you published? I'm waiting for a number. Is the number 0? I bet it's 0.
Anyone can publish a book on anything.
Anyone can publish a book on anything, and yet you haven't. Your number is still 0.
I don't need this list. Fascist as a distinct political phenomenon can be observed by what it was and not by arbitrary lists.
Great. Do you have a different
But
definition?
as your legal correspondent, CRT generally has very little to do with critical reasoning and much more to do with a particular dialectic method to the history of law.
So, it's okay. It has a little to do with critical reasoning and much more to do with particular dialectic method. The
You
method
never lead a
is
country and
critique.
DT has, so I should care more about what he says about it than you.
You never led a country and DT has. I should care more about what he says than you. Yes, you should care a lot about what Donald Trump has to say. And when I listen to him, he sounds like a goddamn lunatic. He sounds like a fucking fascist when I hear him speak. So maybe don't vote for the guy who sounds like a fascist.
And clearly he is more correct about how it should be done.
I
So nothing, I am
disagree.
just telling you what the word critical means in that context, and it's not the same as the one in number 14.
Okay, so it is not... It sounds like they're critiquing. How do you critique a thing? It sounds like a critique lens. I don't know. All right, I'll look into it.
He
But
is more
again,
correct because he has done it and you have not. Check
great.
out Waldo's videos, https://www.youtubecom at Waldo Videos.
I think he did a shit job of it. I'm allowed to critique him. I'm being very critical of Donald
Fascism
Trump.
isn't a list of checkboxes to tick off and voila, it's fascist fascism as we saw in Germany. And Italy was the state using totalitarian measures to ensure control and turning their economies
Into war economies, gee, sounds like Biden's resume and honest. Yet I doubt you call Biden a fascist. Biden's not a fascist. He doesn't have the traits that we just went over to put him into that category.
I knew it.
Christ almighty, you're thick as hell, aren't
Called
you?
it.
The man wrote a book about the things that fascists tend to do. Then he published that book, and we read that, and we looked at the excerpts, which is what we just looked at, and one side of our current American political structure fits much closer to the Italian fascists than the other does. Am I wrong in saying that? One side fits closer to what the Italian fascists were than the other.
Umberto Eco is not an authority on this topic, even if a bunch of #resistance liberals spread that list on social media.
Find me one then. You tell me who it is then. Because this is the expert I found. Have you got an expert? You got one? I bet you don't. And if you do, it's a fucking YouTuber. Which I am too. So we're all making
How
shit up
about
as we go.
Mussolini?
How about Mussolini? We should ask Mussolini what a fascist is. I don't trust him because
Nope,
he's a fascist.
I don't watch YouTube for history.
Okay, great. What are we? We're going to ask Mussolini what a fascist is?
A sense of overwhelming crisis beyond reach of traditional solutions. 2. Belief one's group is the victim, justifying any action without legal or moral limits. 3. Need for authority by a natural lead.
Okay, so what do you? Where are you getting this? Have you got a link to a person that I could read? The natural leader above the law, relying on the superiority of his instincts. That sounds like fucking Donald Trump. They want to make him God King. Right of the chosen people to dominate others without legal or moral restraint. That sounds like fucking Donald Trump again. Fear of foreign contamination. Sounds like fucking Stephen Miller, who works for fucking Donald Trump. Christ almighty. Couch baby, you gave me a whole list of Donald Trump fucking descriptors. Planet
Biden
Sega,
is a fascist. Change my mind.
Planet Sega Saturn. You're not smart enough to know what a fascist is.
That also applied to the left RN.
No, it doesn't, Couch Baby. Absolutely does not.
ESPC Ali the leftist. Biden is too gay to be a fascist.
Biden is not a fascist. I'm not.
Boom, nailed it.
He is very gay. He doesn't tick the lists. He doesn't fit within the categories. Your category. Sense of overwhelming crisis
The
beyond
left doesn't
tradition.
think they are the victims.
Doesn't think that they are the victims. They might. I don't know. What do we got? Okay, I'm reading your list again. A sense of overwhelming crisis beyond reach of traditional solutions. I don't... How does that describe fucking Biden? It doesn't. Belief one's group is the victim, justifying any action. Any
Biden
action
isn't gay, he just shits his pants a lot. Doesn't
without
mean
legal
he
or
has a
moral
prolapse
limits.
anus.
Mother of God. If if fascism ever comes, motherfucking, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi is going to write a sternly worded letter. She will claim to be the
I am
victim,
not
but
talking
she won't
about Biden.
justify action without legal or moral limits. You're describing the right. This couch baby,
You forgot
everything
number
you've written there.
15 on the list eats a lot of ice cream. Biden has that in spades, and number 15 trumps pun intended all the others. Making incendiary comment thinking I am the victor.
What planet do you live on?
Holy shit, I am not talking about Biden.
Well, that's who's running in the fucking election. So, follow me
I
here,
am.
couch baby. Listen, you're not talking about Joe Biden, but I
I
am.
have never been talking about Biden.
But I
Because
am.
he eats ice cream.
Listen.
I live on planet Sega Saturn.
Excellent.
And I want
It's-
ice cream.
It's a cool place. There are two people running in the election. Which of them, Joe Biden
I
or
have
Donald
said
Trump,
many times I wasn't.
is closer to being a fascist? Which one? You have to choose. Because we all want not fascism, right? We all agree here that fascism is not good for our country.
So why are you applying what I am saying to Biden?
Because he's the one running, God damn it. He is the one I'm going to have to vote for. Vote for the one who's least fascist. So I have applied what I can to the two people. One of them seems more fascist than the other. Do you
Biden
not?
is more of a warmonger than Trump. How is he not a fascist per your own logic?
Because I gave you the list of things that I told you make up a fascist.
Bro
The
makes it up
things.
as he goes along.
Everything's made up as they go along. So, which of those two?
This was never about if Trump was or wasn't.
It's exactly what this is
Because
about.
warmonger does not equal fascist.
Warmonger doesn't
Well,
equal
for me.
fascist. I agree. Well, then you're having a different fucking conversation than I am. Christ almighty, no wonder we can't agree. You're having your own little conversation that I'm not a part of.
China doesn't warmonger and they're fascist as hell.
I would agree with that sentence. Who wrote that? Popog wrote that. See? Every time I agree with a
I am
thing, it's
attempting to
Popog,
show
not
you how
guys.
your list is flawed.
The list isn't perfect. Great. The list is a list of things that I would like to avoid. Fuck off if they're fascist or not. That is a list of things that I would like to avoid. I do not ever
The list
want
is meh,
to
but it's fine.
vote for someone
Not
who
that
follows
DT
all
is
of
or
those
isn't.
things. Then why are we applying the list? If we're not going to apply it to the people running
My
for the fucking
cognitive
president.
dissonance means you're wrong.
If you're not applying
You are calling them
that list,
fascist, you nonce.
yes, because I have come to that conclusion. You're the one who's saying that you're not applying it to people. I am. I'm
How is
applying
he a nonce?
that list to people. And you're not, so you're having your own conversation. I don't know what
Do
you're
you
having a
know what
conversation
that
about.
word means, lol? Yes, I do.
You two fight with each other for a minute. I gotta read these.
Let's get some more cognitive assonance.
Button.
Nonce means he touches kids' bro. That's a wild accusation.
That's not a very nice accusation. I didn't know that's what that meant. That sounds
Join
crazy.
the Discord to send links and suggestions. HTTPS Discord GG Benyay Tridix 8. I mean is a socialist, so if the boot fits.
Okay, so couch baby, follow me here.
Nonce is British slang for kitty fiddler.
Let's leave that alone. Couch baby, follow me here. I have to vote in November. I have two real choices.
Nonce actually means number used once and it's a cryptography term.
I have two real choices. Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I have used a measuring stick. I have used Umberto Eco's list to measure the two of these men. One of them
Just
fits
pick Trump asshole.
way more
What about
often.
the Green Party?
What about the Green Party? They don't have a chance to win. Get out of here. They don't have a fucking chance. You know that. There are two real choices. One of them fits more of Umberto Eco's checklists than the other. So I'm going to vote for the other. Simple. Simple as.
Trump is right there on the ballot, bro.
I
Pick
know.
him.
And he is the one who fits most with Umberto Eco's list. And I don't like that list. I think anybody who hits the things on that list is a bad guy. I'll dumb it down to just feelings. If you fill in most of those things on that list, you're a bad guy. So I
The
vote for the
list
least
is
bad
wrong
guy.
is what I am saying. I bet you'd never guess who I voted for in the last 3 elections.
I don't know.
I'd use that list to wipe my ass with.
Well, I think
Trump
it's a
and
great
Biden
measuring
both
stick.
die on November 5th. You know you're voting for Jill Stein.
If she's the furthest left. The list is a good list. I like that list because it makes sense to me. I have read it and it feels like a lot of personality traits that I would like to avoid for the
A
people in
measuring
power.
stick for what?
A measuring stick for who I ought to vote for.
Feels over reals.
All politics is based on feelings. Planet Sega Saturn, including yours.
For measuring.
Yes. You can measure feelings.
Why choose that list?
Because it is in and about fascists. It is an authoritative list about fascism. When I go to read and understand what they are and how to avoid them, that list pops up. I didn't pick that list because the leftist told me to. It's the one
What
that makes the most
makes it authoritative?
sense. The fact that it was written by a guy who was in Italy and looked at them and
What other
studied
list
them.
should we choose?
Pick a different list. You brought one up earlier.
No, it is
I'm
not.
sorry.
That is what I've been saying. Holy fucking shit.
It is. You haven't made it less authoritative. He is far more authoritative than you are, Couch Baby. I'm sorry. He is. You brought me a list earlier, Couch Baby. You put a 5-point list up here. I'm scrolling up a little bit, scrolling up a little bit, scrolling up a little bit. You put a 5-point list that the right also fits within to far more than the left. What am I going to do with that? You've brought me your own list, and Donald Trump falls into it far more easily than Biden does. So by your list, I should also vote for Biden. Welcome to the party, comrade.
Bro, I was 13 after Bush. Am I qualified to talk about the US in that time?
Did you do a research paper on it that got published? Did you publish any books on the subject?
Like his list seems to capture a bunch of points of those regimes. We're not gonna get a randomized controlled trial of fascism to determine the scientifically best list.
That's a good point. Couch Baby, did you put together a research paper? If you did, I'll read it. And maybe I'll argue with it.
Published doesn't mean anything.
Then find me a published work disputing Umberto Eco, and I'll read it. Put it in the chat. Put it, not in chat, in the Discord, and I'll read it. But even the list that you posted is just your feelings, which is great and valid. All politics is based on feelings. Mine and yours. I'm the only one who admits it, though.
Published doesn't mean anything. Literally anything can publish anything.
Okay, great. Well then, why did his name get bandied about when I start looking for what is fascism? His thing comes up.
Published means it was worth enough to someone that they want others to read.
Isn't that a
I
good
was
thing?
not even a sperm when Herodotus found those gold-eating ants the size of dogs, but I am an expert on those.
Bring forth your expert who disagrees with Umberto Eco, and I will listen to it. Until then, it's just you saying it.
Define expert.
Anybody who's had some sort of
Being a published author is all it
Published.
takes. Okay, that's like saying we should care about supermarket tabloids and paperbacks then.
they
But
can,
I am right, cause I can never be wrong.
they can get things correct. I mean, the National Enquirer pushed stories that turned out to be correct sometimes. Most of the time they're not, but a published author is all it takes to be taken more seriously than Twitch chat, yes. It's like we're saying we should care about supermarket tabloids and paperbacks. Well, if they're saying something that can be substantiated and you can measure against other sources.
I still think the problem with his list is that it doesn't capture any of the economic aspects which I think are pretty important to understanding the power structures fascism employs.
See that? An excellent
Holy shit,
argument.
I can be right sometimes. But otherwise it seems fine.
I'm more interested in the social aspects of the fascists rather than the economic ones. And yes, Popog is right. It does leave off the economy
At
from that
Popo
list.
G42, which are all literally socialist. They're not quite socialist.
Who's not? The fascists? They're probably not.
"99 is good enough for me. They're centralized planning but decentralized execution. So market socialist.
I would support moving slightly towards the market
Sort
socialist
of.
system. I think that's a good idea.
Economics is for eggheads. The only real distinction is whether or not your government wants to impose its cultural agenda on the public. That's what the Nazis did. That's what Biden is doing by
Pushing trans stuff on everyone? Trans rights are human rights. Trans
Eggs are
people
for eating.
are good. And that's a freedom that they should have. You should have the freedom.
Bro-fascist economic theory is just social street economic theory.
Economics is not real. I get in trouble every time I say it, but I think it's true. Economics is all based on feelings. Popog might start yelling at me now. He was on my side until now.
Trans isn't real, it's actually autogynephilia, which means men who are turned on at the thought of pretending to be women.
That's
Lol,
just
okay, so streamer has
dumb
a sub-room
planets.
temp IQ
Sega
too.
Saturn.
Joe Brandon forced me to trans.
So streamer has a sub-room temp IQ too. Yeah, I don't trust economists. They seem to be liars. And wrong all the time. When a weatherman disagrees with another weatherman, say there's two weathermen, and they disagree on what the rain is going to be tomorrow, that's fine. But if they disagree on what happened yesterday, that would be insane. Economists can't agree what happened yesterday. They can't. You can find a dozen different interpretations of what happened during the economy of the Great Depression back in the 20s. You can find a dozen different ideas about it. They can't even agree on what happened in the past.
They seem to be liars because they don't affirm my worldview.
No, they seem to be liars because
A weatherman sexist Waldo.
A weatherman, that's right. I don't mind. I'll be sexist. Only men can tell you what if
We
it's
use
going to rain
weather
tomorrow.
person now.
Only a man can tell you if it's
No
going to rain
one can
tomorrow.
be wrong, only liars.
No one can be wrong, only liars. The weatherman can be wrong about what happens tomorrow, but they're not going to argue about what happened yesterday. The economists tend to argue about what happened yesterday. Why do they argue about what happened yesterday? It's because none of them know. None of them know. They tell you that they know. They're lying to you.
I
No one
stated
understands the
facts, sir. Transgenders, as in actual ones, are an extremely rare segment of the
Nothing you're saying there, Planet.
population. We are seeing an uptick in
is-
transgenders because the pharmaceutical industry and big
None of those are
medical
facts. Jesus fucking Canooch, come on. Planet 67, none of that's facts. It's all based on your feelings. You have severe feelings about trans people.
All of that's facts, actually.
No. It's not. You're telling us your feelings. your decisions on how we should treat trans people are based on your feelings, and so are mine. I'm willing to tell you that they are people who have rights
None of
and
that's
should
facts,
be
it's just
taken care
bigoted
of.
opinion.
Yeah, I know. Trans people are people. Trans people should have rights, and they should be treated with decency, respect, and they should have freedom to
We should
choose
treat
to live how they
AGPs
are.
with therapy and not prescribe them hormones.
That is not what the medical folks say, and they're smarter than you. I trust the science and the doctors. They disagree with you, Planet Sega Saturn. And are you going to tell me that they're all on the take for the evil pharmaceutical industry? Folks, this is how it happens.
Trans people should have the right to use slurs on public college campuses. Bro, they literally aren't lying, they are explaining what they think happened. You cannot be stating what you believe to be true and lying at the same time.
You can be
Actually, the medical
wrong.
folks classified AGPs under the DSMB. Check out Waldo's videos https://www.youtubecom at Waldo videos. At PopOG42 based.
He's got a point. They should have extra rights, you see, and if they have more rights, they'll be even more equal. Planet Sega Saturn.
Yes, I agree. The economists can be wrong. Being wrong does not equal lying.
I agree. Being wrong doesn't equal being lying. I agree. But if you're all wrong about what happened yesterday, if there are 12 different assumptions about what happened yesterday, why would I listen to you tell me what's going to happen tomorrow?
Trans lefts?
Economists can't agree on what happened yesterday. Why would I listen to them tell me what's going to happen tomorrow? Why would I do that? And then they'll tell me that they understand it. That's the lie, not
Why do you want to
misunderstanding.
encourage AGPs to act out their fantasies rather than getting psychiatric help?
I don't know what you're talking about with this AGP thing. Trans people. It's okay, you can say it. But you won't say it, because then you start to lose the argument. Because you don't want to treat them like people.
They think they do understand it. Because I
They
don't
think they do
care about
understand
them
it,
and
and then they're
Planet
wrong.
Sega
That's
Saturn,
fine.
and I am invested in Big Pharma.
So you get all that sweet hormone money. You're pissing in Popog's cornflakes. He's got
So they aren't lying.
stocks in, well,
What you
they're
call trans is
overconfident.
usually an autogynephile or an AGP.
No, they're just trans people. Why do you get to name them? Are you one? No, then you don't get to name them. Okay, Couch Baby, you're right. They're not lying. They're overconfident in a braggadocious way that makes me doubt the things that they say.
Overconfident isn't lying.
Overconfident isn't lying.
I am using proper medical terminology.
I shouldn't listen to them, though, right? I shouldn't listen to them. If I've
I
determined
sell
that they're
sex dolls to
overconfident,
perverts. Why wouldn't I sell hormones to AGPers?
proper medical terminology is trans. Planet Sega Saturn. That's the proper medical terminology now. You're being very political in your use of AGP and refusing to use the word trans, right? You're being very political, right? Because everything is political. And all politics are based on feelings. You have a lot of feelings about them. And you have come, I'm going to suggest, Planet Sega Saturn, to a conclusion. And you are backtracking from that conclusion using the science that agrees with you only.
Again, you're confused. Trans is a very rare mental condition. AGP is more common yet still rare. Nevertheless, it's wrong to encourage fetishistic behavior. I mean, sure, if you don't want to listen to them, that's up to you. I don't really give a shit. It's just really shit for you to claim someone is lying when you have no real evidence of that.
Fine. Economists cannot be trusted. They can't predict the future. They have no idea what's happening in the current state, and they do not agree on what happened in the past. They are of not to be trusted. Is that better? Couch baby? Maybe you're right. I shouldn't call them liars. I should call them untrustworthy. Snake oil salesman.
No one can predict the future.
They tell me they can. If anybody tells me that they can...
What about Jesus?
What about Jesus? He couldn't predict the future either. Let's see.
Gotcha. What about all those women who get beat up by AGPs in contact sports in the name of equality? Is it fair for an AGP to beat up a woman because it's politically correct to humor their delusions?
I'm actually super on board for that. Planet Sega Saturn, I love it when women get beat up. You are
I mean, I disagree with that statement,
special,
but it's a super subjective statement and it's fine if you wish to believe that.
Alright. It's past 9 o'clock. I'm well past normal stream time. I am going to call it there. I'm going to call it off.
Lies, that's the premise for the shitty move Lady Blurs.
Lady Blurs.
Someone clip that he wants to beat up women.
Someone clip that he wants to beat up women. Quick. So, let's go back here and click this button and go here and then tell everybody good night. Hi, thanks for coming. You guys have been on fire tonight. Thank you. Good job. Keep it up. I'm done for the night. I've politicked as hard as I could for the past 2 hours, and I am done with it. So, if you're here, if you're following, feel free to press the like button, press the subscribe button. If you do, it'll turn a frog gay.
Good night, Waldo. Good night.
Thanks
Canooch is tuckered out.
Canooch is tuckered out. I'm tuckered out. Everybody's tired. Good night. Thanks for being here.
Hope you don't beat up any women in your sleep.
I probably won't. I usually don't. I might, but I usually don't. It's an unusual
Good night, Canooch.
Good night, Canooch. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. Bye. Oh, we'll be back on Wednesday.